Welcome back to your latest installment of the Men's Media Network. Today's installment is an immediate medical concern for men, especially with the upcoming warm weather. Summertime is coming. And it's kind of inspired by a friend that called me last night that had a serious itch. And he called me and he was wanting to know a remedy for this itch. And this itch was in a place that it's not really socially acceptable to scratch in most public venues. So that immediately took me back to another friend. Pooji had asked me last summer about a condition he had going on. And this condition is very serious. It is something that costs us a lot of productivity in the workplace when men are suffering from it. And this condition is perspiration-induced chafing. Now, I know you're thinking, Chris, you're going to have to do away with this city talk and tell me what that really is in our language, in our, in layman's terms. Well, common name for this condition would be raw butt. Or if you ride motorcycles or four-wheelers or involved in riding horses, any kind of action sports, it can be called monkey butt. And I have another friend that calls it, he's got a cobbler baking, which made me really not want dessert for a little while. But this condition is treatable. It's easily treatable with things that you have at home and probably in your medicine cabinet or your shop or your garage. Now, home remedies is something that I take very serious. And usually, my home remedy of icy hot and brewer's yeast will cure most anything from infantigo to a spider bite and even some internal issues you might have going on, used in the right application. But for this particular condition, the perspiration-induced chafing, we want to not treat the symptoms, and the icy hot and brewer's yeast will give you temporary relief, but we want to get to the root of the cause, okay? And by doing this, we've got to look at how did it happen. I've been doing a ton of research lately on things that we eat that are causing so many of our common problems. And one of those common problems is processed meats. Now, I've been to a ton of basketball games here lately, and the food of choice at a basketball game is the hot dog. And now we've moved right into softball. Again, food of choice, hot dog. And it is. It's from ballparks to gyms to racetracks to carnivals. I've even ate some at some wedding receptions. Hot dog is the food of choice. But there are safer alternatives out there. If you have to go with the processed meat route, go something completely safer, a lot better. Alternative would be bologna. Okay. So these processed meats are causing toxicity that comes out of the skin in the form of this chafing, in the form of my entrepreneurial friend that was itching. There's always something that causes it. So, if you don't want to completely change your diet, listen to my home remedy. The first thing, and this may be the only time I ever advocate shaving, but the first thing you need to do is shave the irritated area, and preferably dry. And you're saying, Chris, this is not going to be comfortable at all. Well, what you want to do, yes, you're going to cause some more irritation to that area. You're going to cause an inflamed area to become a little more inflamed. Maybe bake the cobbler a little faster. But what you've got to think is we're about to cure this problem. So as more inflammation occurs, as more and more occurs, you're bringing it to the surface. This is when you take another common ingredient in your house and start the curing process. 90% red label isopropyl alcohol. It's always in my medicine cabinet. I mean, it's just as common in my medicine cabinet as ibuprofen. I use it primarily at my house to treat, if I ever get anything in my eye, like metal shavings or sawdust, is perfect eye rinse. So I've always got it on hand. Well, after this area has been shaven and the irritation starts to occur, douse it liberally with the 90%. The isopropyl is going to immediately cleanse and start to kill some of those toxins. Okay, as soon as that happens, well, I know a lot of you are going to ask the question. I'll go ahead and answer it now. Can I use my homemade grain alcohol? A lot of my neighbors would have that question. And I said, yeah, absolutely. That'll do the same thing, and that's even more of a home remedy. So if you have that homemade grain alcohol, use it as long as it's coming from a semi-sanitary container. Okay, the next step and the final step in this process to healing this condition is a catalyst that most of us should have as men: burnt motor oil. And if you watched my Valentine's Day installment and took it to heart, you probably already got a jug laying around. Now, as responsible men, we store this safely. We store it safely, and we have uses for it. Most men that are concerned about the environment and, being responsible try to burn all of their biodegradable garbage, such as styrofoam or used tires, anything plastic. We try to burn this, and, it keeps the earth clean. So we use the motor oil as the perfect catalyst to start this fire, and it's a great process. It is. And like I said, John Paul, this oil is stored in a safe container, so we're good. So what you're going to do with this burnt motor oil is you're going to apply it to the area of inflammation or chafing. And you're going to ask me immediately, what is the perfect applicator for that? Well, what I have always used, my go-to applicator is a coarse steel wool. And Kelly at a hardware store can hook you up with the coarse steel wool. Use it as an applicator, apply liberally, but don't do it on your porch or over your carpet. This is burnt motor oil, by the way. It is medicine, but it's burnt motor oil. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, Chris, well, hadn't burnt motor oil been known in the state of California to possibly cause cancer or reproductive harm? Yeah, but there's a simple answer for that. That's why we don't move to California. See, all that sunshine comes at a price. All those sunny days turns usually harmless substances into something that is very deadly. Lead, xylene, toluene, all these things turn potentially deadly the minute you go to California and you expose yourself to that much beautiful weather. So that's why we don't live in California. So you apply this liberally, and then look here, you're good. You should be starting to see relief immediately. And there's other home remedies, but most other summer illnesses are common sense. If you have poison oak, poison ivy, or sumac, your body's telling you to scratch it. Like Lou Holtz said, his body never told him to drink water. He never drinks water because his body don't tell him to drink it. And look at Lou. He's like the greatest orator of our time, a very eloquent speaker. So follow Lou's advice. If your body's telling you to scratch it, scratch it. And what I've always done when I had the poison oak, poison ivy, or sumac is I would scratch it, and then I would reapply some oil, like from my hair to the scratch, rub the beard, scratch. That's common sense. Your body's telling you to do it, and that'll work itself out in a day or so. Sunburn, your skin is a lot like metal. It needs to be heat treated, so you get a good sunburn at the ball field. The best thing you can do is expose your skin to the most heat that you can. When you get home, a super, super hot shower or bath to the sunburned area. Because once your skin reaches a certain temperature, it's going to be hardened. It's going to be tempered like steel. And you're good the rest of the summer from sunburn. So, home remedies, I know, look, y'all are probably going to want to send me money. this is me giving back. This is paying it forward because I love everybody. I really do. And I hope it's been useful. And to all my homies in the county in Cell Block 6, look here. You can't use home remedies if you ain't at home. Get home. To everybody else, remember home remedies, eliminate copays. Peace.